don't know, I just, I was kind of watching like this, and
I also ended up not really liking this movie all that much.
そっちとこっちが違うのはそっちは情内が綺麗になってるだろうだけどこっちは柔軟だよな
Welcome to Garde vs. the Machine video edition.
Quick. I didn't even get a chance to
this
rest. All right, let's go.
What are you talking about? It's been 4 days,
fine.
Dave.
Do it your way.
We today are going to be talking about the film Throw Away Your Books, Rally in the Streets. Dave, let's just jump right into it. What did you think about this movie?
Hated it.
Yeah, I bet you did. I bet you would have. Why? Why was the hatred so strong?
Let's start this way. We learned that this director has a museum named after him.
Yeah.
So I clearly can't start from the point of being Japanese or understanding his cultural significance or really what this movie is technically about. We do talk about how there are universal themes, particularly in the late 60s and 70s across the globe about what the youth are railing against. But this is a brutal movie. There's a gang rape. There's pedophilia. There's bestiality. It's shot in the experimental, old-fashioned student film way of oversaturated shaky cam. It's pretentious to me, Kyle. It's not made for me, and as much as even after we spoke about it, I want to be smart, I can't.
I also ended up not really liking this movie all that much. And yeah, it is partly because of the avant-garde nature of this movie. I think I could have enjoyed this a lot more if it had just focused on the quote-unquote like narrative of the young man trying to find his way in the world. Many of those scenes I actually did find compelling. But then it would like smash cut over, we're just gonna watch him run down a railway track for like 2.5 minutes and just wildly shake the camera around in a green sepia tone. And it's just like, I don't really care about any of this.
It's long.
The gang rape scene specifically is like, it goes on for so long. There's like a soccer scene where I have no idea what's even happening because they're just like in the middle of it. Again, just waving the camera around. It's, who is this? What's going on? I was never able to fully emotionally connect with anything that was happening on screen. Even when these elements would bubble up, I'm like, oh, well, that's an interesting idea. That's an interesting acting choice. I even brought up the fact that what I actually found really interesting was this use of no or kabuki theater, which uses like the two actors on the sides of the stage to kind of verbalize what the characters on stage are feeling. So they'll be wailing or laughing or whatever it happens to be. And they're using that here in this movie. I'm like, oh, that's an interesting progression from ancient Japanese theater into like a modern day context and kind of commenting on it a little bit. That's one scene out of almost 2.5 hours of screen time.
So long.
It's not enough to like fully invest in this. Most of it I was just like, I don't really care what's happening on screen. It was a bit rough.
It's a difficult thing for us to comment on for that reason. I will say from a filmmaking perspective, his opening monologue, you see it in the trailer where he's talking to the audience. I mean, you already know what you're kind of in for, but that's kind of neat. You can tell he's considered a Japanese intellectual in the sense that he's creating this discourse. But that's the thing about experimental filmmaking that is so difficult for me to get into. It's like what I consider contemporary art. I don't want to read 2 paragraphs to explain to me why this is important. I would like to engage in art that is reasonably self-evident. I don't know, I just, I was kind of watching like this, and the one thing we did bring up, and Kyle mentioned it in our trailer reaction, the lowest form of entertainment, I couldn't help but think about Sweetback a lot, and how there's such a strong parallel. Kyle brought up, yes, there's a little bit more cinematic and filmmaking intentionality in this film, but
by and large are very similar, I think, in what they're trying to do.
They're addressing civic rights and youth culture problems using very brutal situations and imagery. It's trying to do the same thing, which is elicit this response from the viewer that you need to question everything, authority and your way of living. Still, both of them make me feel kind of sick to my stomach, and we do get to have good conversations about it. But as a movie, I would never recommend anyone other than maybe someone I knew who was Japanese or studied Japanese history.
Can you just imagine your mother or father calling up like, we're looking for a movie recommendation. You should watch Throw Away Your Books, Rally in the Streets.
Double feature, Mom and Dad.
Sweetback. What is happening?
We'll eat over dinner and have a nice conversation about why your generation ruined it for everybody.
So if you want to ruin it for everybody, of course, you can listen to our full podcast episode available anywhere you get podcasts. It's available now. And I guess we will see you all next week.
Oh, Godzilla Hedorah, Smog Monster, fish head.
This movie could have used more fish heads.
I'm surprised there weren't any, to be honest.
Yeah, really. We should have really looked that up. I wonder if Terayama was like friends or something with who the person was who made Hedorah.
Maybe we should spend more time pulling apart Hedorah and seeing how it lines up with this movie, but we didn't, so who cares?
That'll be for our wrap-up episode this year. We watch everything.
Yeah, we'll watch everything.
Throw away your books.
何してんだよ映画館の暗闇の中でそうやって腰掛けて待ってたって